Good morning, everyone. Happy Friday. It is a
Woohoo!
great day today because I have a couple very special guests with me with over 30 years of experience spanning
Hey,
a broad variety of client help, participation, and also involvement with our real estate
Cannot
leadership
find the music
community.
on
I
here.
am
I don't know why
excited to
it's saying it's
welcome.
overcharged.
Hey, Kim, I'm going to
Oh, sorry,
mute you.
sorry, sorry, sorry.
Yeah, you're good.
Yeah.
Anyways, welcome Feldmans to the call, you guys. Rob and Deb Feldman, welcome.
And Zoe in the background.
Poor Zoe.
And
She
Zoe,
can't see, but she can hear.
Yes. Come on, Zoe.
our sweet dog Zoe. So, Rob and Deb, tell us a little bit more about yourselves for those people maybe who don't know who you are on the call.
Okay. Well, hello, people on the phone. Hello, people in looking. Well, I'll let
There's
Deb
Zoe.
start because she started a few years before me. So go ahead, start talking about what you did quickly.
Okay, so I started off as a team. Started with Remax many moons ago. And I started off with really good partners who were my mentors, who taught me. And I think the biggest thing that I learned is I've always been that way, but just be honest with people. You can't change certain things that you can't change. You can work hard, you can do all the things that you're going to do, but you have to be honest. You have to tell people the truth. And we tell them good, bad, or indifferent. We're going to tell you. And we do. So that is, I think, the key. And I'm always very quick at returning a phone call. I don't always take a phone call when I'm with somebody, but I usually say to, like, when I started, if I don't call you back, and again, we didn't have all the technology and all the things we had today. I said, if I don't call you back within 2 hours, call me back because maybe I didn't get the message, but I will call you back. And it's important if somebody makes the time and the effort to call you, you call them back that day or within a few hours. And even, or take the call when you're with just excuse yourself for a second, say, I'm with a client, showing property, I'm doing blah, blah, blah. And I will call you back as soon as I'm done and make that call. I think that's most important, getting back to people, because I hate to be kept waiting and did they get the call? Do they care? Am I important? And I think answering a phone call is really important.
That is amazingly, because even in today's world, when we call an agent to show a property and they don't call back, it just really fries us. I mean, that just is. But the big thing I want to say, because you see KW over there where Halley's, moniker is, we loved, I'll be honest, we loved Remax, but when Remax started thinking about the balloon more than they did about us,
Right.
and we were recruited at KW, and we've been with your office now about 13 years, which is crazy through all the stuff. But you all, if you're new, if you're not new, and you want to learn, go to KW, be a KW, tell people to be a KW. We constantly are looking for people that will work and help and do, because this is the place. And without sounding presumptuous, if you get bored, you can do something 5 days a week at KW.
That is true.
And it's so
Or
true.
if you get lonely,
Yeah,
join KW.
Join KW.
They're always reaching out to you.
They are.
Those are such good comments. Deb, you touched a little bit on the client expectation, which I definitely can say that's one of the things that I've always noticed when consulting in your business that has been a huge pillar, which is your communication, the way that you treat clients and the way that you're so very client focused. So tell us more about that. Like, where does that philosophy come from? How do you embody that in your business on a day-to-day basis? Like, tell me more about that.
So, like how I treat them with respect. If you don't like who you're working with, don't work with them. That's the bottom line. I think when you first start I'll never forget it. I first started, and you've got to take all the business, good, bad, or indifferent, you got to take it. And there's this one woman that treated me like I was less than dirt. And I took her out, and her attitude, and it was the first person I fired, because this is what you have to keep in mind. People are like their friends, and their friends are like them. If they're great clients, they're going to have great clients for you. If they're crappy clients, they're going to have crappy clients. If they give you a bad time, yeah, everybody does maybe a certain or a little bit, but if they're really crummy clients, if you don't like them, don't work with them, because they're going to refer their crummy friends to you, and you're not going to have good clients. The key is to find really good clients. And I think being respectful, being honest, being all the things that we were taught as kids, I would hope for the most part, that the biggest thing, treat people respect. And again, like
Mhm.
I tapped in earlier, you can't change what you can't change. If the market's crummy and things aren't selling and you're there all the time, like we have a listing right now, and the only way we're getting people in is through an open house. We've sent out flyers, we've done some other stuff. It just, we're not getting the calls. We've lowered the price from where we started almost 100,000. We dropped it 2 weeks ago,
Mhm.
50,000. We thought we would have had some calls. It's the economy. It's the time of, whatever you believe in, I don't care, but it's what's going on in the world. And people are scared of losing their jobs. They're scared of, um, all these things where the market's going, they've lost money in the market. I mean, all those things. And there's a lot of people that have pulled out of this market because they're
Mm.
scared to death. But what I've
Um,
always said is that people need a roof over their head. They'll buy something, they're renting something, they need to live somewhere. So maybe for some of them, they're still renting, but for others, they're like, we just got to do it. We got to do it and we'll get through it.
Well, I think too, when Hal, you're talking about the communication. We do stuff in our world that we feel is unique, and I think that you know, we don't love them and leave them. We've been friendly with a good portion of our clients for years. If we help somebody clean up their house, if we listen to people, we go, we'll make sure that they are taken care of. Even going back to the short time of pandemic ago, people loved them and leave them. And that's, I think, a communication issue. Oh, we can just do it and make that kind of money. We've had clients for years because they'll call and say, boy, I need this, I need that. And with that said, you all have a team around you, have your title, have your escrow, have your lender, have people that what you feel comfortable with that you can call in a snap of a finger that they're going to help you out and be part of you.
And not just that, your roofer, your
Your
electrician,
electrician.
your
Mhm.
handyman, all those things. Because who are they calling? My roof fell off last night. They need a roofer. But this happened, that happened. We always, even though the transaction's done, we're still helping. And
Mhm.
you've got to, whether they have a home warranty, um, um,
Get to know people and well, yeah, we'll talk about that a little
yeah,
later. Go ahead.
but yeah, you've got to have that's your other part of a big part of your team, is that you can call your electrician, hey, this went out, that went out, who can I call? It's your contacts. Those are what you're sharing. Those are people. And then what Rob and I have done, we personally use them. So if I'm referring you our AC guy,
Mm.
it's because we've used them. If I'm giving you our handyman, it's because we've used them. We know they're good. And have we gone through bad ones? Absolutely. We won't use them again. But, and usually you hear from a client, oh, he was terrible. Really? And then you have them again, and you don't
We
use
had
them.
a painter that thought he was Picasso
Yeah.
and fought with us. So that's why we don't have him anymore.
Yeah.
But I mean,
And then going through other agents in the office. Kendra Miller is one of them. She's a great agent and she shares her knowledge and her people. And the other thing is when another agent's client comes in to your open house, call that agent. Kendra's
Mm.
done that with us. We've done that with her the other day. We're in El Dorado, a agent not in our office. Her clients came in. I called her and said, hey, Mr. and Mrs. Blah blah came in and they seem to like the house, letting you know they came in. Because we don't always know where they go, but we respect when somebody says, I have an agent, I'm not trying to take them.
Mm.
Well,
Mhm.
do say, if it doesn't work out, you can always give us a call. But I'm never trying to take them, or I call them and say, hey, we're better agents, or do this with us because we're better. That's a bunch, you don't want that, because that's just like bad karma and bad things will happen.
Well, with that said, you want to be like, we go to the Seal Beach broker meeting. We go to, don't be afraid to meet every agent out there, because you want people to say, gee, I can't wait, I can't wait to work with Deb and Rob. And that's what we pride ourselves on for the past 30 years. Okay, the little things that we do, because we believe we practice what we preach. I was involved, with the grievance for 3 years. I was pres, and the chair, excuse me. And then Deb and I did pro standards for 15. You do it because people come to
We
you
both
to
did
ask
them
you.
both.
We both, yeah. You come and people will ask you what's going on. We don't have all the answers, but boy, I'll bet we know people in the neighborhood and around and everywhere you go.
And Rob's been off the board. I mean, we both have for a long time, but they'll call him because they know that he ran it for a while and said, hey, this
Mhm.
doesn't sound legal. What do you think? And then
Mhm.
we're, like, connect with Lori Smith, ask her, share your connections. It's not gonna, it's always
It's like
helpful.
widen your net, you guys. Everybody, who's listening, feel that you can go out and do it. If you feel that you're reserved, do it on a level, one something at a, one person a week at a time, that kind of stuff. Being around for, and we're going off on another tangent, but being around for 30 plus years, people say, you still put your own signs out. You still, because when we put our signs up, people go, oh my God, who are you? And you end up, and you all know me. I mean, Deb is fabulous. She's, taught me well, but I'm the talker in the family.
You
And
think?
so everybody knows it, and we embraced it. And Deb embraces the back end of it, where I embrace the front end. And we've really learned, we say team. I mean, Deb and I have been together almost 47 years, and we've made it work. I will say one, I know her, but 2 seconds. When I first came in and joined Deb, when I was looking over her shoulder, trying to learn some stuff. And she looked at me and said, would you go get another job, please? But we've learned to really, really do it. And if you make a mistake, or if you don't have the answer, say so. Let them know. I made such a terrible mistake when we started out, and Debbie still 30 years later tells me I made a mistake on the size of a house that was 4,000 square feet, that I said, but it really was only 1,500, and it was that kind of thing. But you also have to laugh, you guys. Yeah, I mean, I'm telling you stuff that I tell you at the end. You've got to have fun with what you do and how you do it, by meeting people. And don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to ask people in the office. Stop her. Don't be afraid to ask people in the office stuff. Don't be afraid to say, look, I don't know how to do this. Show me. And look what it's done. I mean, we could tell you how successful we are, but that's not what this is about. We never
Mhm.
have been that way. We never did. It shows. So
That community is so important that you
yes,
build because we're independent contractors and it can feel sometimes like you're on an island, right? Because everyone's operating their own separate businesses. And yet the community that we have as all being real estate agents that you guys have built through that connection have built layers and layers of support and security with those who are safe and again sharing to their knowledge. And I have to say our group here is pretty sharing in general, right?
Yeah, that's the beauty about our particular office. We have great agents. You can always go to them. RTC that we're now using, we got it from Valerie Condon. She, because it wasn't working out who we had before. And she referred us to Christina Conway, who's amazing and makes our job so much easier. And,
Mhm.
again, it's sort of letting go, because you're like in total control and I have to do this and I have to do, no, you don't. There's somebody that can help you with that paperwork and so that you can go out and sell, you can go do what you need to do. And I
Mhm.
think that's real important to have somebody really good on your side or that will pick up the phone and say, hey, this is, they haven't signed this or they haven't signed that. you know, it's sort of like having an amazing secretary, that just keeps you, like, you gotta get this done, you gotta get that done, this, you know, the 10 days are coming up, the inspection needs to be signed off. So it's really helpful to have that. And I think, again, that's part of your team. You're still in
Very
charge.
good leverage.
Yeah,
Mhm.
and she doesn't talk to her clients ever, ever. We're the ones, but
They-
she'll notify us and say, hey,
Mhm.
you gotta get this done. And,
Mhm.
you know, when I first started, there was no money. We didn't have a big income and all that. So don't overspend what you can't afford. So the biggest thing is
Hallie's smiling over there. She knows.
you gotta go slow. So your first sale, you take some of that money, you know, you gotta put money away for taxes. You put money away for like getting more signs. You need your, it's like being in a car and having gas. So your signs are your gas, your flags are part of your gas, all that. And the more that you put your name out there, people are going to learn who you are. So we put out lots and lots of signs, and we believe in the open houses because we may not necessarily get a client, although we do sometimes, but you could get a seller because they like the way you're doing your open house. We don't sit there and, you know, stare at our computer, and we give them a tour, we show them the house, we tell them everything because we are the ambassadors of that house.
We just had last weekend, somebody came in and I started showing them the house, even though it's vacant, and you talk about the neighborhood and you talk about what the model and all that. And finally, the guy looks at me, and it wasn't a nice comment. He goes, "Would you give me some privacy, please?" And I went, "Excuse me?" He said, so his wife finally looked at me and said, he's not used to people showing him around. It's little things like that, you guys. But I was going to addendum to what Deb said about all the stuff we have. The one thing we still do today is we pay ourselves after we get paid. We pay ourselves first, and then you put away everything. I still do it 30 years later. So you don't go, oops, I don't have any loot to do, you know,
Yeah.
the fun things that
Mhm.
you're doing. I think that, but we have time. I want to make sure I get this in. Some of the other things that also help us, you all, um, Debbie and I do it because we're blessed and not any other reason feel that we have to. We do it because we feel it's the thing to do. We're both philanthropic. And if you guys, we have all kinds of things. Look what we're doing on Red Day, May 8th. But you all have your own thing that you absolutely love. I mean, Hallie and Manny and everybody hear about Jazz Angels, which is one of our main things that we do now, where we preserve jazz in the schools for underserved kids, on and I could go on and on. But it has helped us over the years because not only do we give, we work with them too. Don't be afraid to work with your philanthropies. Don't be afraid to be who you are. And it really shows, you know.
Or if you have young kids, you're
Yes.
in T-ball, you're in soccer, you're in whatever. Let them know that you're a realtor and dress for success.
Mm.
Don't be schlubby and don't come in wearing your sweats all the time. Look like a professional. If you want to be important, look
Looking
important.
forward.
So, and it's true. It's true. You know, like sometimes if we're wearing sweatshirts, people go, "You're not working."
Yeah, it's yeah.
And so always look professional. Show up at your open house dressed. You want to be outside of everybody else. You want to be the one standing out. You're the professional. Look like the professional. You don't want to look like everybody else in jeans and t-shirts and, you know, there was another agent, a great agent, and he
Oh,
always wore shorts, wore like a really nice shirt, but he always like, you know, like a Tommy Bahama shirt, and he always wore shorts. Very rarely did he ever wear long pants, but that was okay. That was who he is. But he looked different than everybody else. And I think that's really important for your open houses. And open houses, you meet neighbors, you meet all sorts of things. Um, and
And with that said, one thing that we still do after 30 years, you all new or old or whatever who's listening today, have a statistic, one a day. Have a brand new statistic because
Rob is great with that.
what it does, people go, oh my God. Or if you're doing an open house in a neighborhood that you're kind of learning or doing or helping another agent do, find something in that neighborhood. Because when somebody comes up, inevitably they're going to say, what about this? Oh, yeah, yeah. And you really look like you know what you're doing. We do, but, but
Oh, we think we do.
we think we do. Yeah, we think we're legends in our own mind, okay? But um, the statistic really helps. It helps you learn and learn more. There's all kinds of information. Don't inundate yourself, as Deb said. Learn something new and enjoy it each day. If you do so much in a day, you're going to go, whoops, okay. And then, if you need to take a day off, take the day off, but don't take a week off, if you're really on a roll. So,
And the other thing is, if you do need to take a week off, if there's a family thing or whatever, when the kids were little, I said, help me get out of the house. That was our big thing. And then, because we did not have a lot of money. I mean, we were really struggling. And I said, and then we'll go to Disneyland. So if a house sold or something like that, it was a treat. And then they knew not to bug me, to help me get out, to get my stuff, to get out the door. And they knew they would be rewarded because, make your bed, help clean up the house, make your kids a part of your company, make them a part of what you do. And if you don't have kids, tell your dogs to behave. You'll take
Train
them.
your dogs to make the bed, right?
That's right. That's
That's
right.
a good one.
Yeah.
You guys touched on so many things, and I do want to rewind a little bit because we talk a lot about philanthropy and turning your passions and finding ways to meld them into your business. And I think that one of the things that you guys do very well is not only are you living that passion every day, but you're inviting your clients to that passion, right? So
Mhm.
you're bringing them into your world so they get to see what you guys care about, right?
Yeah, it's important. Or support local things. And I go back, like when you have kids, there's so many things that they're involved with
Mm.
that you can help out. Or neighbors will say, Jimmy's on the baseball team. Can you give me $150? Can you be a sponsor? Can you help out with Glee Club? Can you help? And you do what you can. You won't be able to do it for everybody, but there'll be certain people. And yeah, and you do help them out, and you try to go. Like we've gone to,
Mm.
we're not a part of it, but Los Al had a great Glee Club, and we had 3 or 4 clients whose kids were on it. So of course we
Mm.
supported that. We
We're
went
sitting
into,
in the center row, third seat, because, but it was fun too. We love that stuff.
but you're in the book, you're sponsoring the book, and you get your name out there, and they really appreciate that. And what it does years later, if they're still in the area, they're going to come back to you. Now Susie's married and they need a house. They remember Deb and Rob because they were there for her at choir. Yeah.
That is so brilliant. So many agents here on the call, maybe building rapport. They have kids. You may even go the extra mile and know their names or their ages, but knowing what schools they go to, knowing what clubs they're involved in, what activities they're involved in. That's what makes that connection to being just, hey, I'm a real estate agent, to being like, I am your realtor for life, right?
Right.
Right,
Yeah.
right. And don't be afraid. I mean, sports and art and music, it's such a big part of us. We have fun because people tease me about the Dodgers all the time. And it becomes a topic of conversation with some people even walk in, somebody will walk in with a San Francisco Giant hat. And I have no problem going, are you kidding me? But that's the kind of thing. And what Hallie is saying that she doesn't tell you, she's going to kick me next week when we see her. She worked at I mean, she did all the plays at the Long Beach Playhouse. I booed the Giants. Somebody just I love it. Um, I love the fact that Hallie has done other stuff because she understands what we do and how we
Of
do it.
life outside of real
Yeah.
estate, but you bring that outside life back into real estate because of the people you met. We have a lot of like our kids' friends, we've sold them places because they trust us. That's a big thing. You have to trust your agent that they're doing the best thing for you with all the baloney and all the things that are happening. You need to really listen to what they're telling you. If they say my budget is X, don't show them why. You know, if it's a little bit over, that's one thing. And we do tell them that, you know, things have come down, prices come down. And if it hits that mark, we're letting you know if it's a little bit above. But don't, I mean, if somebody's at 500,000, don't show them 7, don't show them 1 million. They can't afford it. You're wasting their time and they get angry.
They
So,
do.
so show them what they can afford. They may not like it and they may say, you know what, we're going to wait. Either prices are going to drop or we're going to wait till we have more money. But really key into what they do. And a lot of times what we do is we'll go to their home to see what they have. And, you know, you're asking personal questions. Do you have a king size bed? You're in their bedroom, you're in their bathroom, you're in their kitchen, you're in their living room, you're in there where they live. What's going on in their lifestyle? Do they have a big dog? Do they need a yard? What are their needs? And what we still do is we'll say, what are your top 5 things that are really important to you? And if it's a couple, we tell them to do it separately and then compare their list. So usually get the top 3. What's really important? I want a fireplace, I need a garage, and I need, you know, a yard, or a kitchen's real important. And then you tap into those things that are important, and then you find an area. And then sometimes you find, let's say they wanted Los Alamitos, and we always, because we live in Los Al, our kids went to Los Al, we were involved in all the stuff. We talk about the surrounding areas. So a personal experience. So we'll say, you know, West Garden Grove is a great area. We have a bunch of clients who couldn't get into Los Al. They love the West Garden Grove area. You know, I'm saying if you
And
make
there's
that.
where your statistic, because Deb is going West Garden Grove, you look at Pacifica, it's not a D1 school, it's a D3, D4, but it's on top of their level on that. And we come up with it and they go, oh my God, you know.
And then they're happy.
Yeah.
Where are those kids going? Well, we know kids from there went to West Point. They went to Harvard. They went to Columbia. They, you know, it's not just the Los Al kids that are going to these places. So it's really important that you know your surrounding areas and have an alternative if number 1 doesn't work. Here's an alternative that you might like, and just come see it. And if you don't like it, that's okay. But it's within their price point. Or Cypress, or, you know, knowing that Cypress only goes K through 8th. And then once you hit the high school, you're now in a different district. People aren't aware of that.
Okay.
So you have to educate them. So I
You
think
know, you bring great points in, and at the heart of that is, if your clients are families and they have children, you need to be master of the schools. Like the way that you just named off the different pieces is a great value of saying we need to know our market, we need to know our product, we need to know it, which is beyond just a house, right? It's the neighborhood, it's the area, it's the schools, it's the all of that is something of value that an agent is going to be able to bring to their clients and find very, very valuable on a daily basis, right?
yeah.
Well, we've got a couple minutes left. Anything else you guys want to share with the group? Any last words or thoughts or things like that that you can help them to kick off the weekend?
So I just want to say this real quick, going back to the houses. Go on those tours. Go on you learn a lot, like Rob
Mhm.
said at the Long Beach Broker Preview. You learn so much. Learn when the tour days are, and especially if you're new, go see those houses, even without any clients, because you don't know who you're going to meet. And you might see something, and that person's going to go, I need to be over here. And you go, I just saw this house. It's perfect. It's exactly what you want. So know your inventory. And the only way you're going to know that is to go out and look. That's really important. It's the easiest way to see properties is to do those tours, to do that. So that's what
Re
I would say.
Reviewing homes, knowing your market, so important. Rob, any other comments?
No, I mean, I think you've heard everything that not everything. We could talk for hours and you know that there's so much to it. And again, don't be afraid to be who you are. Do the one thing that you do well. Don't look at somebody who, like a team who's doing $5 billion a year. You do what you can do, and then it'll really morph into the good stuff.
That's your success.
Yep.
Don't put yourself against, oh, I'm not doing $50 million. You know what? Do 2 deals.
And have a
Make yourself a
realist. Sorry.
a realistic goal. I think that's important. You know, yes, it's always good to go high or reach for the sky or reach for the stars or whatever, but be grateful for what you've gotten. And you'll get, I know it's hard in the beginning, but the more you go out on tour, the more you meet people, the more you do things, that will be your success.
10 more seconds. And, you know, we're cheerleaders for KW regardless, but be grateful for for who we have at our office, because being part of what we've done over all these years, we hear about offices that just don't do what you guys do. And I'm not saying it because you're there and we're talking to you. You can pick up the phone at any time of the day and get answers and get thoughts
Yeah,
that you
it's
do.
always
And
important.
there's no judgment, there's no nothing. I'm doing this, and well, no, or yeah, hey, that's a great idea. That's what you got to do. And don't be afraid at the team meetings to go up to somebody. I don't know you. Hi, how are you? You sound, you know, that's the way it works.
But our brokerage is great, like Rob. Simon is great. He, you know, he'll always say, I'm with somebody, but I'll call you back. And I so appreciate it, because when you have an important question, you need an answer, not 3 days from now. You need an answer within a short amount of time, and they're always there. Whether it's Simon, you, Minnie, they always answer.
The gang is there, all there.
Yeah.
Well, we love you. We have quite a community. And if you're not taking an opportunity in utilizing every little bit and piece of it, please take some of the things that Rob and Deb shared today, because they are a great fountain of knowledge. Thank you both, the two of you. And thank you to your little puppers who,
It's
who
only chilled now.
behaved pretty well. But in the interim, thank you guys again. Lead with love and light this weekend. Go out and work on your businesses. You know, do an extra open house, make one more call, you know, have a conversation with someone that comes from a place of a kind place of heart to build that true human connection. Because as you can see from Rob and Deb, it will serve you very well for many years.
Yeah.
So thank you guys. Have a wonderful weekend. Reach out to
Yeah.
us if you need anything. Okay. Thank you again.
Thanks, Halley,
Thanks,
for having
Deb.
us.
Thanks,
All right.
Rob. Great
All right.
seeing you
Thanks,
guys.
Julie.
Thanks, Rob. You guys are
Thank you,
amazing.
Feldman.
Thank you guys.
Thank
Oh,
you, Deb.
thanks,
Thanks for,
Gary.
thanks.
Appreciate it.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
Thank you,
Bye-bye.
everyone.